What should the future hold for America?
I will say this, and I'll say it right to the camera: stop it.
There are a lot of differing opinions, and some are downright terrifying to a lot of people. Welcome to Watch Mojo's Top 5 Facts. In today's installment, we're counting down the top 5 most interesting facts that we could find about the alt-right. This informal movement has broadly been described as a conservative group brought together by their rejection of mainstream American conservative beliefs. The media has called them everything from white supremacists to the new power behind the GOP. However you choose to define them, they certainly have captured the attention of the nation. Number 5. Trump was accused of dog whistling to the alt-right.
We need somebody that can take the brand of the United States and make it great again.
There's no denying it. Donald Trump's relationship with the alt-right is a complicated one. Whether or not you believe he actually went out of his way to appeal to members of this controversial movement, there are a number of questionable moments from his presidential campaign that certainly warrant scrutiny.
These are radical Islamic terrorists, and she won't even mention the word.
Upon entering politics, this world-renowned businessman sold himself as the candidate of the common man, going out of his way to avoid alienating potential voters, be they visible minorities or, ex-KKK leaders.
Will you unequivocally condemn David Duke and say that you don't want his vote or that of other white supremacists in this election?
Well, just so you understand, I don't know anything about David Duke.
Trump quickly inspired the alt-right with his anti-establishment messaging, and with his rise to power, so too did this fringe internet movement step into the mainstream. They embraced him, and with his appointment of Stephen Bannon as campaign strategist, more about him shortly, it appeared as if Donald was returning the love. Despite publicly denouncing them following the Heil Trump debacle, Trump has been accused of covertly campaigning to the alt-right. Dog whistle politics refers to the use of coded wording that sounds normal to the general public, but conveys an entirely different meaning to special groups or demographics. Looking at Trump's campaign, alleged examples include his promise to focus on, quote, Americanism, not globalism, unquote, at the RNC.
Americanism, not globalism, will be our credo.
And his encouragement for people to watch out for voter fraud while singling out primarily minority neighborhoods. According to some, including Rolling Stone magazine, Trump's comment on the Second Amendment was a blatant and terrifying dog whistle encouraging gun enthusiasts to assassinate Hillary Clinton.
Nothing you can do, folks. Although the Second Amendment people, maybe there is, I don't know.
Trump was seen by many as a voice for the disenfranchised, but upon closer examination, his choice of campaign words seemingly carried more meaning than the average listener was likely to catch.
But the name is there. It's radical Islamic terror.
Number 4. They reject America's founding principles. Trump's campaign promised to, quote, make America great again. But the ideological leaders of the alt-right don't think that the country should be glorifying the past. They believe in America, but in their humble opinion, it has yet to live up to its potential.
What do I want my great-grandchildren to experience? For me, it's something like the revival of the Roman Empire.
So what exactly do members of the alt-right believe has been stunting America's growth? Honestly, a bunch of things. But, at least according to Richard Spencer, alt-right leader and founder of conservative think tank National Policy Institute, the fundamental issue is an unreasonable commitment to the ideals of the Founding Fathers.
What would you say, though, if Mexican Americans or African Americans said, hey, we're going to pay all the white people to leave and go back to Europe?
An interesting prospect. I'm very flexible.
In fact, Spencer said, quote, when I look at Thomas Jefferson's writing, the Declaration of Independence, it makes me want to vomit. The idea that a creator made all human beings equal? That's ridiculous. The idea that we would dedicate ourselves to something as stupid as equality or democracy is morally insulting to me, unquote. To be clear, he's a major thought leader of the movement, and has even been credited with coining the term alt-right.
We're often told that being an American, or a Briton or German or any European nationality, is about being dedicated to a collection of abstractions and buzzwords. Democracy, freedom, tolerance, multiculturalism.
Mirroring Spencer's sentiments, members of the alt-right generally resent traditional conservatives, who they call cuck-servatives, seeing them as weak and overly committed to the Constitution.
It's not just that they are leftist and cucks. It's not just that many are genuinely stupid. Indeed, one wonders if these people are people at all.
According to Ben Shapiro, an ex-editor for Breitbart News, the leading alt-right website, this movement simply shares nothing in common with Western right-wing politics. As he explained in an interview with Slate, for leaders at least, it all comes down to identity politics.
The Donald Trump campaign was the first time in my lifetime that an identity politics for white people was on the scene.
They believe that a strong nation has no use for the Constitution. It just needs an ethnically European population.
The fact is, only white people can support what we call Western civilization.
Number 3. Trump's chief strategist has been called a major voice of the alt-right. Trump has publicly denounced the alt-right, but in that very same interview, he rose to the defense of his chief strategist turned senior advisor, Steve Bannon, and the right-wing news outlet Breitbart, where Bannon is an executive chair. Of Breitbart, Trump said to the New York Times, "It's just a publication that covers subjects on the right." And that's at least partially true. Breitbart News was founded in 2007 by Jewish conservative publisher Andrew Breitbart, but since his passing in 2012, according to the Southern Poverty Law Center, Stephen Bannon has become the, quote, main driver behind Breitbart becoming a white ethno-nationalist propaganda mill, unquote. And regardless of what Trump may say, Bannon himself has described Breitbart as the platform for the alt-right in the past. While some purists, like Richard Spencer, might not consider Bannon to be a real alt-right member, there's no denying the colossal contribution he has made to the alt-right movement by giving it a major voice. Number 2. They have intelligent, educated leadership and are very media savvy. One of the biggest mistakes one can make when dealing with the alt-right is to underestimate the men leading the movement. We say men because, while there are some women involved, it's estimated that they only account for 1/5 of the members. And according to Richard Spencer, the role of women in any organization should be limited, as he believes that, quote, their vindictiveness knows no bounds, unquote. For decades, racists in America have been dismissed as unintelligent hicks. But this stereotype could not be further from the truth as far as the alt-right is concerned. Granted, the faithful members waging war online in the name of such notable causes as Gamergate and keeping Ghostbusters an all-male cast might not be the most cerebral of men out there.
You might just get your wish,
No
Patty.
way.
But the leading figures of the alt-right movement, such as Richard Spencer, Stephen Bannon, Jared Taylor, and Vox Day, are all highly educated individuals who know how to present an argument and win debates. The movement was born on the internet, on sites like 4chan. Those involved in the alt-right have embraced meme culture and social media as a means of communicating and spreading their influence. In 2016, Twitter actually banned a number of major figures, including Spencer, as part of an effort to curb hate speech and combat abuse of users. But many feel that these leaders have only gained greater notoriety and influence as a result of this censorship. Number 1. The alt-right is unabashedly about white nationalism.
To be white is to be a striver, a crusader, an explorer, and a conqueror. We build, we produce, we go upward.
Various progressive news outlets such as Bustle, Jezebel, KUOW-FM Seattle Public Radio, as well as civil rights organizations, have called for major news networks to stop using the term alt-right because it obscures and normalizes something that America has long deemed unacceptable, white nationalism, which is itself a euphemism for an inherently racist concept. The Washington Post has defined the alt-right as, quote, a small, far-right movement that seeks a whites-only state, unquote. But this identity is not one that has been projected onto them by critical media.
No, I'm not a white supremacist, absolutely. White supremacy means that a white person would want to rule over other people.
Serious alt-right members willingly employ the term white nationalism, often when seeking to distinguish themselves from white supremacists. According to The Guardian, some extreme alt-righters believe they are currently experiencing a white genocide as a result of immigration, equal opportunity employment, multiculturalism, and black-on-white crime.
The fact is, there's a demographic struggle going on.
They claim that such factors are eroding the very foundation of a strong America, namely, quote, the white culture of exclusively European descendants, unquote.
It's a country in which we ourselves have become strangers.
As such, the alt-right's ultimate goal is the establishment of a whites-only nation. Richard Spencer has made his position quite clear on this. He dreams of a white America achieved through what he calls peaceful ethnic cleansing, stating that it would consist of having, quote, blacks, Asians, Hispanics, and Jews removed from the US.
They've come here, and therefore they could go home. You can go home again.
According to Rolling Stone, Spencer has summed up the movement as follows. Race matters, and race is the foundation of identity. That is fundamentally what the alt-right is about. So, just how familiar were you with the alt-right? Had you ever heard of them before the 2016 presidential race? For more political top 10s and unnerving top 5s, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
I want to influence politics and influence culture. And I think we have an amazing opportunity to do that with Donald Trump.